More minutes, so don't go away. Thanks, Brooke. Okay, go gourmet or just keep it simple. This is different than an omelet that we're going to make today. Today we're making this classic egg dish that you can have for dinner, and you can make it different any way you want to. Becky Lowe calls it a Utah frittata. That calls for an explanation. What in the world is a Utah frittata?
Let's break it apart. The frittata actually is kind of a flat omelet. It is a very classic dish. In the Utah, we are known for using up what we have, and so you literally can put whatever you want into this frittata. So an example would be that for 8 eggs, you want about 3 cups of ingredients, and that could be anywhere from the hash browns that you have.
Whatever you got in the fridge, whatever you got in the freezer, whatever you're trying to clean up, okay.
Yeah, whatever happens to be there. For example, I'm using some onions and mushrooms in mine today because I like that. And I've just simply sauteed those ahead of time. Now, a tip is that you do want to cook the vegetables ahead so that they don't weep into it. I'm also going to add spinach to mine, and this is more than the 3 cups.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it 3 cups cooked down?
Cooked down.
Okay.
And if you were to press that into a bowl or a cup, it's going to be much less than that. Now, there's just a little bit of moisture in there, and so we're going to put this whole thing in. And spinach has a tendency to wilt down very nicely, so mostly the moisture that's in the pan will wilt that down. Okay, so let's just kind of swap out these pans. Here's one that I have right here, and we're going to move this one off to the side. And here it's all wilted down. Same recipe.
The mushrooms, the onions, the spinach that's been wilted down.
Okay, then the other part is egg. It's an egg-based dish, so it's kind of an omelet dish.
And so you said 3 cups of that for every 8 eggs? Is that the proportion?
Up to 3 cups. Yeah,
okay.
That keeps it a good proportion. Okay, so I have 8 eggs. We're also going to add a little bit of cream or milk to this, depending on, you could use skim milk if you wanted to reduce the fat, or if you wanted the richness, then use cream. And just simply blend those together. And in the meantime, and I also added just a little bit of garlic to this for flavor. And then we'll put that over the top of it. Oh, that's good. In fact, if you were to just whisk it.
Oh, yeah. So you don't need a hand mixer, whatever you can do.
Yep. I like that hand blender. Okay, now we're going to pour this over the top of it, and you can actually cook this in 2 different types of ways. One is a baked. You could pour this into a cake pan or a pan and put it into the oven to bake. The other is that we're going to partially cook it on top of the stove, and then we'll finish it up in the oven. At this point, we'd also want to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste.
Do I need a special pan for this? Is just any kind of saute pan that I've got I can use?
Oh, good question. Just about any type of pan. If you're going to bake it, then it needs to be an oven-proof pan. So, for example, pie plates, cake pans work, cast iron pans, any of those. Now, a word of caution, if you're going to broil it, then you do need to have something that is broil safe. So my non-stick surface will not work.
Oh.
You can't put that into the broiler. So something that's stainless steel, and also watch your handles, a metal handle. So if you don't have that type of pan that you can put under the broiler, then bake it. Okay, now at this point, this is where the omelet comes in, and we'll just continue to cook this just a little bit on top of the stove. And we'll move the egg to the side, and as it starts to set up, it's going to run into the spaces that we have created, or the gap that we've created. We also want to add a little bit of cheese to this. In fact, a little cheese will go a long way with the flavor and the texture of it, and it's naturally rich in the calcium, so it's an added bonus to your meal. Now, I like to either do it, I'll put the cheese half in, or I'll put the cheese all on top. It's up to you. Makes it a little crustier if you put it on the top, and personally I like that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Or if you want that flavor baked into it, then you would put a little bit into it now. And for this particular recipe, I'm going to use half feta and half mozzarella. A smoked Gouda would work really well with this, or a sharp cheddar. Yeah, it really is, depending on what you would like.
And I'm very intrigued about the time to do this. So when you pull it away, so we would cook it a little bit more on the stove before we stick it in the oven, because it's not quite set. But when you pull it away and it holds its shape a little bit and runs into it, that's the sign.
You can kind of see, the edges are starting to cook, but the center is definitely going to be still runny and raw. And we just continue to, push that to the side. That's when it would go into the broiler, and you broil it for about 3 to 6 minutes until it's nice and golden
brown. Until it looks like this. This looks so good right here. You can see the top that's like browned and golden. It has sort of the bubbling cheese on here. It's the Utah frittata. We should just call it a Utah. You know,
there you go.
Cut back on the syllables right there. Becky's posted the recipes and some different derivations, some inspiration for the Utah frittata, and the spinach mushroom frittata. Of course, it's all on our website. You can find all the complete information at studio5.ksl.com.